Hey family and friends, this is Janice from Ozark Family Homestead. Today I'm going to be making kombucha again. I had taken a little bit of a break because my family was not drinking kombucha as fast as they typically do. I don't know if your families do this, especially your children. If I buy bananas, sometimes they just eat them all up in days, and other times they sit there and turn black. That same phenomenon happens with kombucha here. It goes one way or the other. And so I had put my SCOBY, which is here in this container, in the refrigerator to kind of let it hibernate for a while. And it was in there. I'm going to prepare yourself. It's not the most pleasant thing to look at. But this is what a SCOBY looks like for kombucha. This is a colony of yeast here, and it is what eats up the sugar in the kombucha. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new batch right now. This is still going to be set aside. I'm not using this at this point. It is just warming up from that time that it's spent in the refrigerator, and it's going to sit here on the counter and wait until its food is ready. So to start that, this beginning process is super easy. I'm going to make a batch of sweet tea. So what I do to start that is I get a pot, a saucepan here with water in it. I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. I already have my tea bags ready for the next step. I use green tea. You can use black tea, that's fine. I use 8 of these regular size bags of green tea. And once this comes to a boil, we'll come back and go to step 2. Just a little bit of time has passed. The water is up to a good rolling boil. I am going to now put these 8 tea bags in here. Close the lid, turn off the water, turn off the heat to the water, and let it set and cool and steep. That's it for that step. We are now ready for phase 2 of the kombucha process here. So time has gotten away from me. This is now cold. It's done. So we're going to proceed. The first thing I'm going to do is squeeze out these tea bags here and put them in the compost bucket. I'm going to make up in here a gallon of sweet tea at this point. So I am going to put a cup of sugar in there. Now what I use, these are evaporated cane crystals that I get from Azure Standard. You can use regular white refined sugar, and that'll work just fine also. To that, I'm going to add this tea, or this, yeah. But you notice it doesn't fill up the glass jar all the way, and I want a full gallon. So I'm going to take this and just put regular water in there. And we're going to fill it up enough to where we have a full, well, almost full gallon of sweet tea. I want to leave just enough room in this jar for the SCOBY and the starter kombucha to fit in here. I can always add more water to the tippity top after I've put the SCOBY in here. So I'm going to stop right here and see where we end up. I'm going to stir it up. Get that sugar all dissolved in there. Makes a little whirlpool. That makes me happy. I don't know why. Okay, once the sugar is all dissolved, it's time to put the SCOBY in. Now you remember, it looks gross. Prepare yourself. There you go. This is what my SCOBY looks like. It's been sitting on the counter, out of the refrigerator. It's now a good room temperature. It's going in there. And this is all the starter liquid. This is what's been keeping it alive, and it's going to, let's say, activate the sweet tea that we've just put in here. All right. And that's just about perfect there as far as the level. I have it right here at the neck of the jar. A few things to keep in mind here. You never want to put your SCOBY into a jar of hot tea. You want that tea to be cooled at least to room temperature. Otherwise it's going to kill your SCOBY, and that'd be a bad thing. Also, make sure you're only using glass or wooden utensils. I do not use metal. You would not want to put this in a metal jug, or a plastic jug even for that matter. I use glass. Okay, so after we've done this, we're going to cover it up. My hands are tea stained now. All I'm going to do, this is a clean handkerchief, just a clean cotton handkerchief. It's enough to keep gnats, bugs from getting inside, but it breathes. It lets the liquid and the SCOBY breathe, and I'm just going to put a rubber band around it to hold it in place. You could use a clean washcloth or something if you wanted to. At this point, I'm going to set it on the counter. I do 10 days for the first fermentation. It will sit on my counter for 10 days, and then I will come back for part 3 of the exciting kombucha making process. We'll see you in 10 days. Okay guys, we're back. 10 days have passed, so we're ready to move on to the next step of the kombucha making process. What we just finished up was the first fermentation. What we're starting now is the second fermentation. This is the part where we flavor it with yummy stuff. So we're going to start off with removing the SCOBY. And I don't know if you want to go back in the video to look at what it did look like before. It has grown since then, so there is going to be a little bit of a difference there. It's older on the bottom. If you notice, it's darker and not real delicious looking. But then on the top, this white is the fresh new growth of SCOBY that has happened during this first fermentation 10-day process thing. To this, I'm going to add 1 cup of starter liquid. This is what is going to be used for the next batch. So the SCOBY is going to sit in there, and it's going to be very comfy, cozy, and happy in its starter liquid. And it is just going to set aside while we work on this. To this, what I'm going to add is just regular grape juice. We've been using this for years, and we think it's delicious. And the big thing is, it's easy. At this point, some people would be putting fresh fruit in their kombucha, and you can do that, and it will be lovely. Very good. But at the end, then you have to strain out the fruit and rebottle it. I don't want to have to mess with that. So I use grape juice. It's delicious. It's easy. I can put it in mason jars and be done with it. So that's what we do. So to the remainder of this gallon, I am going to put in a 1/2 cup of this juice. Now you can also use different flavors if you want to. We like grape. It ends up with a flavor, because of the carbonation in here, somewhat like a grape soda pop, and a little bit of wine because it is fermented. Now when you stir this up, don't go crazy stirring it up because it will fizz, and if you are too crazy, it will fizz over, so don't do that. Okay, at this point I'm pouring it in the jars and putting lids on it. This is going to get set aside to be washed for the next batch. these 4 jars. I'm going to put lids on them, and I'm going to set them on my counter for 2 days. During that 2 days, the probiotics that are all in here are going to be eating up the sugars in that fruit juice. So this is not going to be a sugary drink. This is going to be a probiotic-rich drink that's great for your gut, but it tastes good too, and it has a carbonation. So if you're trying to get off sodas, this would be a great healthy alternative for you. I do want to say, if you are brand new to kombucha, don't go drinking a quart at a time. You're going to get upset belly. And that is because all of these probiotics going into your belly is going to cause some die-off, which is a good thing, but too much of a good thing will hurt you. So be gentle on yourself, take it easy, and build up to a healthy amount of probiotics in your belly. So these are going to sit on the counter for 2 days. At the end of the 2 days, I'm going to take them and stick them in my refrigerator. And they will stay in my refrigerator until we get ready to drink them. That's it. You just start the process over again with your next batch and go from there. So it's really easy and it's very tasty. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends and tell them how great Ozark Family Homestead is. So we will see you guys on the next video. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.